Truth time. I'm bad at this. I put the spring on upside down. So I had to undo everything I did yesterday and do it again.
All right, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're doing an exciting build on not the normal S197, but on the S550 behind us. We're swapping out the OEM springs with some Eibach Sportlines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we put the what are they, RTR Tech 7s, is that what they are, on from his S197 before we got the Apex wheels onto this S550, and then quickly realized that there's way too much fender gap, wheel gap. There's way too much. So this is the cheapest, easiest, quickest way to get rid of that. According to the internet, which is never wrong, we're going to drop 1.5 inches in the front and 1.3 inches in the rear. We'll see how that goes. I've seen an S550 with these springs on it at an autocross event, and it looked way lower than that. So we'll see how this works out. This kit came from, where did we get the kit from?
American Muscle.
American Muscle, where we always get stuff from.
Yeah.
They're Eibach Sportlines, as Todd said. They came with the 4 springs. They have some spring, I don't know if I wouldn't call them isolators, but they're just wrapped in some rubber, some new dust boots, some new bump stops. When we get in there, we're gonna see if we even need the new dust boots, because the car's not that old. Unless we destroy it getting those out or getting the springs off, I don't think we'll be replacing them, but we'll figure it out. So let's do it. All right, we got the wheels off, so the next steps are going to be to remove the caliper and then loosen all three of the strut nuts up here. We're going to take 2 all the way off, and we'll leave 1 just loose, just to hold the strut in while we do the rest of the work. And then we'll come back under here, and we'll have to remove the ABS wire, the sway bar, and then we can get to the actual strut knuckle bolts. And then the whole strut will come out as one assembly, and we'll take it to the bench and swap the springs. Okay, so you took these 2 off, we're gonna leave this one on until we get to the next step.
Okay, you can see Dan just disassembled the brake system. So caliper, rotor, all that good stuff is off. And now he's gonna start working on the strut itself.
All right, we got the strut loose. Just gonna take this last nut off the top, and it should come out of the car. There we go. Now we'll take this to the workbench and swap the springs.
Voila. First spring is out. So in order to do this, you're gonna need to buy or rent. We rented from O'Reilly's Auto Parts a strut spring compressor is what it's called. So that tool will go up on the inside of this spring, latch onto it, compress it so you can take it off the strut. And then you can use the same tool to compress the new spring, install onto the strut like so, and then tie it all back together. Just a tip, this tool can be super dangerous to use, so just really be sure that when you're connecting it to the spring itself that it's securely loaded and tight. That way it doesn't launch either the strut or the spring itself anywhere around the shop and hurt you or any of your stuff.
Truth time. I'm bad at this. I put the spring on upside down. So I had to undo everything I did yesterday and do it again. Pretty much hate everything about that. Round 2.
So once you have the spring seated back in onto the strut, you just reverse everything you did and put everything back together. So all in all, fairly straightforward. I think just the spring compression with that specific tool is the most dangerous and tedious part. So really just take your time with that and make sure you're doing it correctly.
All right, we're done with the front springs. We've got the Eibach spring in on the factory strut. Reinstalled it. We put everything back the way we had it. Some of the torque specs we have here are starting at top at the strut tower. You have 37 foot-pounds on the 3 nuts holding the strut in. Then coming down, you have a 184 foot-pounds on the, they're called pinch bolts. There's 2 bolts on the strut to the knuckle. And then you have the caliper back onto the knuckle at 85 foot-pounds. Pretty straightforward. Not a bad process. The scariest part is taking the springs off of the struts. You'll see that or have seen that in the video. But we're gonna go ahead and move to the back now. I'll give you a rundown of what I'm gonna do there, and then maybe we'll do a time lapse as well. All right, we're in the back now. I'm gonna just do a quick rundown, and then you'll watch me do it. This is a pretty straightforward process here. Again, you have 2 strut bolts up here to remove, and then this brake line bracket to allow the subframe to come down. Then you'll have 2 bolts underneath this plate right here, which connects the subframe to the floor of the car. You remove the 2 bolts. Make sure you have a pole jack underneath the subframe somewhere, and then you can remove this bolt here and this bolt here, which are the subframe bolts that hold the subframe to the car. As long as your jack is under there, nothing will move when you take those bolts out. Then you start lowering your jack and the spring will start to decompress, and you should be able to lean down on this a little bit more and pull the spring out. We'll see how it goes. Okay, just a quick note. I didn't mention this earlier. We're going to be replacing the bump stops on the shocks back here as well. So I'd remove the shock mount and the dust boot, and the factory bump stop actually has like a collar holding it from coming off completely. Like, I cannot get this thing off. I don't know if it was installed prior to a final assembly of the shock or what the situation is. And certainly the new bump stop is it has an even smaller hole, so there's just no shot of me getting this thing on. And it's got this extra hard, extra bump stop inside of it that I'm not gonna be able to cut through to get the whole thing off. So what I have done is I just cut part of the factory bump stop off because the new bump stop is shorter. They seem roughly the same stiffness between the new one and this one. I don't know that it's a great solution, but it is the best I can do for now. But we got the new spring in, and I'm about to put it all back together.
All right, another project in the books. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this type of content. We should be putting out some more videos soon. This project was fairly straightforward. We obviously had some mishaps, but we don't often have a video without at least one, so bear with us. And like we said in the video, these springs are a great upgrade for anyone wanting some lowering of the ride height and maybe some performance gains on the track or autocross or even street driving. I'll include the links down below, and we'll see you guys next time. See ya.